What is going on, guys? I am BlackOpsAmazing. Welcome yourselves back to another zombies video on the channel, back with another Q&A where we take your questions from the comment section below and answer them. As always, if you go on to enjoy today's video, you guys know what to do. Smash that like button. Could we shoot for 1.5k likes on this video? You guys are awesome. I know we can do it. Make sure you are subscribed to stay up to date with the latest videos on the channel, and also click that bell notification icon as well. We all know what YouTube's like. But anyway, with that out of the way, let's get into it. Here we go. So the first question of today from the classy how do you say that? The classy Securitron? This person says, what weapons do you want to see in Black Ops 4? I want to see an actual axe or the flamethrower from World at War. So I assume, or is it presume? Is it presume? That you're talking about zombies. So what weapons do I want to see in BO4 zombies? Well, all throughout Black Ops 3 and Black Ops 2 as well, a lot of people were asking Treyarch to give us different melee weapons. The standard one that we have is, of course, the knife. But ever since we saw Takeo holding his katana in the Origins intro, a lot of people were saying, well, why don't Treyarch just give us new melee weapons? Why don't they give us a different melee weapon for each character? Takeo could have a katana, Nikolai maybe a smashed bottle of vodka, I don't know, Dempsey an axe, Richtofen, I think it'd suit him to have a knife, or maybe some weird weapon that he made himself. But that hasn't happened. We've seen Takeo use the katana many times in intros, and we've been asking for something like that for so long, but they never really gave it to us. Well, they did, in terms of we can earn them by doing challenges. I believe they were first introduced in Gorod Karovi, where if you complete a round by a certain amount of time, then you will unlock a new melee weapon. But these challenges weren't exactly easy to do, so a lot of people didn't actually get to use them. For example, if you completed round 5 in less than 5 minutes, you got the nunchucks. If you did round 10 in less than 12 minutes, you got the skull splitter. You could also get other weapons like the buzzcut and the nightbreaker as well. But I thought it would be cool if we could have these as melee weapons just to start off with. Whether we all have the same one, but it'd be much cooler if each character, Takeo, Nikolai, Dempsey or Richtofen, had their own unique melee weapon to do with that character. And as you say in this question, that's something I'd want to see in Black Ops 4. What weapons would I like to see? I think the flamethrower would definitely be interesting. Obviously not as a weapon that you start off with, but maybe it could replace the death machine, where instead you get that out of the mystery box and you can use it until it's all gone. We did actually get the flamethrower in World at War. It wasn't too good, so maybe they could improve on it, but it was definitely fun to use. Like I said, I would love to see new melee weapons in BO4, but I'd actually also like to see more creative weapons. If you think of the Darkest Shore on World War II zombies, the wonder weapon on that is really quite creative. Maybe we could have something like that where it's a chainsaw, not as a wonder weapon, just as another weapon to use that's quite fun. I don't know, I just want to see more fun weapons along with the normal guns and a wonder weapon as well. Let me know in the comment section below what weapons you'd like to see. Savannah Alve says, BOA, what is your strategy for zombies? Love your videos, keep up the good work. So I don't really have a strategy. Some people like to camp, some people like to train, some people like to run around the whole map. Everyone does their own different thing, depending on what you're good at. I mean, if I can take one map, for example, I'll give you Derice. A lot of people camp on the catwalk. Personally, I don't like to do that, it gets boring, so I just train zombies near the power switch. That's pretty much what I do on that map. I mean, it's kind of difficult to tell you my strategy on zombies when there are loads of different maps that you need to do different strategies for. For example, you can't really camp on Zetsubo-no-Shima, whereas like I said, you can on the Giant, so it's pretty difficult, but most of the time I'll just train zombies in one room, using traps, wonder weapons, or whatever I can really get my hands on. When it comes to rounds though, I always set my high round as 50. If I'm just playing for fun, then I really don't care, which is most of the time. I rarely ever play to actually get to a high round. It's mostly just to get gameplay and just have a good game, complete the challenges, and then I'm done. Once I've usually pack-a-punched my weapon, I'm not really too fussed about going to a higher round, so that's probably about round 20, round 15, something like that. But if I do go for a high round, which like I said is rarely, I've done it on Mob of the Dead, Buried, and a few other maps as well, I go for 50, after 50, I just get myself down, so there we go. Nick Stammer has a bunch of questions. Now the first one says, what does TED stand for? I'm just actually wondering right now, is TED the name that Treyarch gave to him, or is it a name that the community, that we made up for him? I can't actually remember him telling us his name in the game. Maybe he does, I don't know, I can't remember off my head right now. If you just let me know in the comment section below and also link me it. But I think if not, it may have been something the community called him, kind of how we called Arthur Leroy just because we didn't know his name. I don't know what it stands for. If you actually look on the COD Zombies wiki, apparently TED means technical elaborate driving droid. I mean, that sounds pretty legit. So apparently that's what his name means. I mean, it makes sense. He's a droid, a robot that drives, technically elaborate. Your second question says, how were the Shadow Man and Dr. Monty born? Again, Dr. Monty is a god. The Shadow Man is seen as like the devil. They existed eons of years ago. In fact, they were the only two people to exist eons of years ago. It was only them two, the Keepers and the Ether. How were they born? We're not told. I mean, your guess is as good as mine. Your third question says, and I find this one interesting, who was the voice of the Void Bow? Well, if you don't know what he's on about, one of the first steps into upgrading the Void Bow requires you to do what an urn tells you. This urn begins floating in the air, and then speaking from it you hear this demonic voice. I presume this is the voice of whoever's died, whoever's ashes are buried inside of this urn. We don't know who it is. It definitely sounds demonic, sounds evil, and what he tells you to do is release him from the urn, and in doing so, in the end we are rewarded with the Void Bow. So you do different challenges for him, and every time you do something he will say something else. He tells you to return that of which is scattered. You also need to sacrifice souls in his honor, so I'm thinking that maybe he was someone of importance, I don't know. And then finally he tells us to find out his name, and this is what it is in Apothicon Radicals.
Release me. What is my name? Mar. Zor. Uja. Ula. Oth. Lore.
His name is Marzar Uja Ula Othlor. I'm not sure if you can translate that, but that is his name in the Apothicon Radicals, which makes me think maybe this demonic voice was an Apothicon. I mean, it would make sense, the Apothicons are evil. This guy sounds pretty evil if we're sacrificing skulls in his name. So I don't know, I mean, this castle was built for the Wolf King. PRIMIS told the Wolf King to build this castle after defeating the Apothicons all those hundreds of years ago. Maybe some Apothicons died in this location and this demonic voice, this person was one of them, whether it was a person. I mean, it is very weird. It's not something that's explained to us, so it's really up to us to come up with an idea on who this was. And like I said, he does tell us to release him. It seems like he's been trapped here for those hundreds of years, and in doing so we eventually get the Void Bow. And then your fourth question says, why did all the zombies YouTubers turn into Fortnite YouTubers? I mean, I haven't. Alex Feliciano says, BOA, what happened to Richtofen's body on the Giant? I mean, I don't know, dude, you tell me. We see the 2.0 version of Richtofen get killed in front of the teleporter in the Giant intro, yet when it comes to the game, his body is nowhere to be seen. What the hell happened to him? Did the zombies devour him? Did the zombies eat him? Did the PRIMIS version of Richtofen take his body somewhere and do stuff to it himself? Wait, okay, that sounds weird. Eli, that's weird. I know, I'm sorry. I'll just stop. I'll just shut up, shall I? Okay, sorry. Datretro Gamer 101 says, what happens to Takio and the rest of the crew whilst Transit, Darius and Buried is going on? So what you're asking me is, what happened to Richtofen, Takio, Nikolai and Dempsey whilst we are playing as the Transit characters? Well, we know that the last time we see them was on Moon. That was the last map we played them on. They were trapped on the Moon whilst Richtofen switched bodies with Samantha, and then Nikolai, Takio and Dempsey joined with Maxis to send the 3 rockets to the Earth. After that, they blow it up, and then we move on to other maps like Nuketown, Transit, Darius and Buried, where we are with a new set of characters. So what you're asking me is, well, what was happening with Takio, Nikolai and Dempsey whilst those maps were going on? And well, we're not really told in the Canorium. I presume they were still stuck on the Moon. We never hear about them again after that. So like I said, I presume they would have just been stuck on the Moon. Of course, there was a teleporter on the Moon that could take you down to Area 51, back down to Earth. I actually find it quite strange that we're never told what happened to those other 2.0 set of characters after Moon. Richtofen, of course, was in the MPD, so we know where he was, but what happened to Nikolai, Takio and Dempsey? Did they survive on the Moon? Are they still up there? Did they come back down to Earth? Did the zombies eventually overrun and kill them? Because their universe doesn't get destroyed, the Moon doesn't get destroyed, they're still on there for a very long time. What the hell did those characters do? Did they have a 3? No, I'm joking. But I don't know, it's just very odd how we went from one set of characters to suddenly a new set of characters and hearing nothing about them again. The only thing we heard was that Maxis went back back to the moon to pluck Samantha out of Richtofen's body, but that was it. There's no mention of the other characters. Could he have saved them? Could Maxis have taken the other characters with him as well? Of course, he wasn't going to do that because he was at that time evil. He didn't care about anyone else other than himself and his daughter. So even if they were still on the moon, he wouldn't have saved them. So yeah, I don't know what happened to them. Did they go on to live? I mean, we can say right now they would be dead since all of the other universes have been destroyed. The original one would have been destroyed as well, meaning eventually they would have been killed, but there was still a long period of time that they potentially could have lived, and we don't know what they were doing. And it's interesting because even though they've tied up a lot of the zombie storyline, you can see things like this and previous questions still don't have answers. There's still a lot of things in zombies that we don't know for certain, which I'm actually not complaining about. I think is a good thing that we still have mystery in the storyline and not everything is cleared up. So that's all I could give you for that. Anyway guys, there we go. That is all I have for you for today's video. As always, hopefully you have enjoyed. If you have, you know what to do. Drop a like rating, smash that like button. Of course you don't have to if you don't want to though. It's totally up to you guys. Make sure you are subscribed to stay up to date with the latest zombies content. And of course we'll see you all in the next video. Thank you for watching, and until next time, goodbye.